But guys, we're an hour into the stream. We've only gotten 2 tips. We're at $5, all right? Now, I would like to talk about a topic this morning that has directly affected me and many, many, many other content creators on YouTube, all right? It's actually affected me a lot recently, okay? So, let's talk a little bit about YouTube monetization and how it has changed over the last several years. YouTube keep updating their policy when it comes to monetization, all right? And how this has affected people making content on the site, okay? Excuse me. Sorry about that. So let me tell you a little story. I've been a YouTuber for 15 years. Back in the day, when you had ads on your videos, it was the Wild West. Anything went. There was no regulation whatsoever. You could literally put out a video of you saying, fart, 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 dick, McFucklefuck. And you could just say it for 10 minutes straight, and you could slap an ad on it, and it's fine. No one cares. Even if it's the most nonsensical garbage, you could make a video, and you get ads all over it, and no one would give a shit. Back in the day, we're talking like 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. The ads on YouTube were running like the fucking river of milk and honey. The Horn of Plenty was exploding with revenue everywhere. It was insane. You could get ads on anything, and they all paid a ton. Sadly, the days of plenty dried up. Here's what happened, okay? After years and years of unlimited ads and basically YouTube putting ads on everything, advertisers started to actually study what they were getting out of YouTube advertisements. And what they started to find was alarming to them. They were investing these large budgets into YouTube advertising, and they were finding that their ads were becoming increasingly less and less effective. The reason being was that YouTube had absolutely no control over where the ads went. So let's say, for example, you run Starbucks' marketing campaigns, and you decide you're going to buy $1 million ad campaign on YouTube for a new Starbucks drink that's coming out this week. So you just say, here, you guys, please put these ads on your videos and let's get our product out there. So, you know, these ads run, and then you come to find out they didn't really have any impact on your product. No one really ran out and bought the new drink. I wonder why. So they started doing market research, come to find out these ads would just go on any video. You know, some kid looking at a camera going, 2 views, gets the fucking Starbucks ad. Basically, they did even further research and found out that their brands were now being advertised and represented on kind of videos that they didn't want their ads on. So, for example, they started finding racist content, okay? Almost content borderlining on outright terrorism, all right? People saying they hate a certain group of people and that they should be, you know, hurt and stuff like that. They found these videos on YouTube and found their ads were being run on those videos. I mean, one of the infamous videos is, I brought up PewDiePie. This one, I feel PewDiePie really got railroaded for no reason, okay? He's in a video and he says the N-word. Now, I don't know the context because I wasn't paying attention. I don't believe there's any context that he should have used that word, all right? I just don't believe he should have used it at all. But this became like the poster example of, here's a big YouTuber using a bad word they shouldn't use. And by the way, his content was fully monetized. So this was the excuse where companies like Walmart, Starbucks, all these giant companies spending millions of dollars on YouTube advertisements said, we don't want to do this now because look what the content that you're putting our ads on. You're misrepresenting our companies and what we stand for. We don't want this. And they all pulled their ads. So this happened within like a week's time in early 2017. Ad revenue on YouTube went from usual levels to literally less than half of what you were making. So you'd be putting out a video that's monetized on YouTube. It gets the same amount of views you usually get, and you made less than half as much money. And you're like, what just happened? And within a week, everyone started panicking. That's what was called the YouTube adpocalypse, when all these big advertisers put their heads together and started talking collectively and said, we're not getting what we want out of the ads. The ads aren't going to the appropriate parties because there's no way on YouTube to control where ads go. And on top of that, the ads are going on completely inappropriate content that we don't stand for, so we don't want to deal with this anymore, and we're all pulling our ads, okay? If you say a racially charged joke, if you say a joke that has anything to do with gender, if you have a joke that anything could be, anything political, you might get demonetized just for saying that particular thing. Whether or not it even is offensive to anyone, they could demonetize it anyway. All right? In particular, they've changed their rules in the last year to say if you have a video that either in the title of the video, so you say, oh, DSP swears and says the F-bomb, right? That's the title of the video. Just saying it like that might get demonetized. Seriously, even if you don't say the word fuck, you might still get demonetized for just having that in the title, okay? And then in addition to that, in the first few minutes of any video, if you drop an F-bomb, if you say like shit in the first few minutes of a video, YouTube will auto-detect that and demonetize the video. You could have a 5-hour-long video, and as soon as you click record, you're like, oh shit, my microphone's screwed up. Can you guys hear me? Oops, you said shit in the first few seconds. Whole 5 hours demonetized. Yeah, that's how YouTube is running things now. Now, you may have noticed in my content, this has not really affected anything. I've pretty much stayed true to who I am. If I'm going to swear, I'm going to swear. And that's just who I am, and I'm not going to change who I am after 15 years to try to get more monetization on my videos. But there's many different reasons for that. Okay, reason number one, I am prolific. I put out a lot of content. In a week's time, I have 6 straight days of full-time gaming and streaming. I'm putting out tons of videos. Even if a third of my videos get demonetized this week, I still got a lot more. Plus, I have a 15-year body of work, out of which, arguably 13 years of which are monetized. So, at every single day, I'm not kidding you, videos on DSP Gaming, as well as my other archive channels or whatever, they all get demonetized on a daily basis. This algorithm is constantly running, finding naughty words it doesn't like, and demonetizing videos. So I would argue that probably if you said I uploaded 80, 90,000 videos in 15 years, probably, I'm not kidding, half of those are probably demonetized by now. I'm serious. But at the same time, when you have so much content out there, it's not that big of a deal. If I was someone who put out one video a day, or even worse, one of these content creators who only does curated, edited content, like what if you're only putting out one video a week and it's a really long edited video, and now immediately you upload it demonetized because you swore in it? You just wasted a week's worth of your time and hard work. How are you supposed to make a living? Now, where this really affects me recently is YouTube Shorts, because YouTube Shorts, all right, at most are allowed to be a minute long. Now, I want you to think about this criteria. YouTube is saying within the first few minutes of any video, you can't swear. If you swear within the first few minutes of any video you upload, instant demonetization, okay? But wait a minute. YouTube Shorts are only a minute long. So if I swear in a YouTube Short, that's definitely within the first few minutes of the video. There's only a minute of the video. So guess what? This blanket thing that should really only be applied to long-form content is applied to YouTube Shorts. So if you're making a YouTube Short and you swear in it, you are immediately demonetized. And on top of that, when you get demonetized, you also get kicked out of the algorithm. So a YouTube Short that may be a great piece of work that's entertaining, but it has shit in it, literally will never get seen by the masses on YouTube. It immediately just, you might as well have not have made it unless you only care about your hardcore audience seeing it. All right? Now, let's be honest. In the case of making a YouTube Short, you're probably doing it to try to get your channel to get exposure, right? Your core audience already knows about the content you're putting out. When you're doing a YouTube Short, you're trying to do a small digestible clip of something that maybe someone who doesn't know who you are would eventually see in the algorithm and say, oh, that's interesting, I like that, I'll go check out the channel. But if you're immediately getting demonetized and essentially kicked out of any search algorithm because you swore in a short, you might as well have never made the short, all right? Yeah, people should be able to swear, people should be able to talk about these risque topics if they want, as long as the content is flagged appropriately and the advertisers can choose whether or not they choose to advertise on said content. I do not believe there should be a blanket law on YouTube saying, oh, you swore in the first 30 seconds of your video, you can never make money on that video ever. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Imagine you're back in elementary school, all right? So you're sitting there in elementary school, right? And the teacher's back is turned against the wall. And some kid who's an asshole decides he's going to take a rubber band and he's going to pull this back and he's going to snap the rubber band at the teacher's head. Now, everyone sees it happening, all right? And he goes, snap, and he hits the teacher in the back of the head. And the teacher turns around infuriated and says, the entire class gets detention. Huh? Why? Because I'm the teacher and you abused me. Entire class gets detention. But we didn't do it. Too bad. Group punishment. Everyone gets detention. Right? Like, what? That's essentially what YouTube is doing. Are there people who have done bad things on YouTube and likely should either be demonetized or have their content monitored for monetization? Yes. Does that mean the entire site should be punished for the work of a few people who have been bad apples? No. But that's how YouTube operates. It's either all or nothing. It's extreme this way or extreme that way. And that's really what I don't understand. You know, you're punishing everyone for the acts of a few small bad actors, and now everyone had to change in 2017. It's a pretty bad situation that's been going on for years and years, and sadly, I hate to say it, it's just getting worse. It seems like now you do have to kind of walk on eggshells. Like I said, for me, here's the good news. I don't care. I'm not making the vast majority of my income on ad revenue. So if half my videos a day get demonetized, it's definitely not the end of the world for me. But for those who depend on that revenue to make a living, like, I mean, take a look at some of these documentarians. You know, someone like June the King. Someone like Frederick Knudsen. You know, these videos that we've watched, that if they can't make ad revenue on those videos, they're absolutely missing out. You know, they're absolutely losing a lot of income.